here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Hi, I'm Kim Brooks, and you're listening to the Coaster Challenge podcast.
Hi, this is Nick Guerrero, and you're listening to the Coaster Challenge podcast.
Hi, my name is Tanner Falcao. I'm a young coaster enthusiast, and you are listening to the Coaster Challenge podcast.
Hi, I'm Michael Corelli from Jurassic Yearbook, and I'm Mr. DNA. You're listening to the Coaster Challenge podcast.
I accept the Coaster Challenge. I accept the Coaster Challenge.
I accept the Coaster Challenge.
I accept the Coaster Challenge.
I accept the Coaster Challenge.
I accept the Coaster Challenge.
I accept the Coaster Challenge.
I accept the Coaster Challenge.
I accept the Coaster Challenge.
Do you accept the Coaster Challenge?
What is the Coaster Challenge? A group of regular people that went from fearful to fearless, all from riding roller coasters. So please secure your hats and glasses. It's time to take the Coaster Challenge. Here are your hosts, David Cantu and Jenna Gazelle.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is the part 2 of our live stream from last week, and we are going to go ahead and continue on what we left off. So here we go.
Yeah, we David, by the way, he has to go tend to his haunt. So he's not with us, but Jenna's still with us. But we are so thankful and so appreciative of the support we are getting from the community, from the listeners of our show, our fans, and so forth. You know, doing this first meetup where we are looking at potentially filling up more than one train on Velocicoaster. There's 24 people per train. We may even fill 2 trains. There's a lot of people who haven't responded yet if they're going yay or nay yet. A lot of local people, local friends, and so forth. So, but we're excited. It's going to be an awesome meetup at Islands of Adventure, and we're doing, some of us are doing horror nights and doing, of course, SeaWorld, as you mentioned, Ivah and Busch Gardens, doing Hollow Scream at SeaWorld.
Yep.
And then that's kind of with the group, and then kind of the second half of the trip, everyone goes home for the weekend, but you guys are off on vacation. I'm taking some vacation that week, and we're doing Disney, including for your birthday.
For my birthday,
We're having dinner at Epcot and World Showcase for your birthday. And we're doing all 4 parks in 2 days. It's going to be a haul.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're returning back to Universal for another day because you can't do Universal in one day. There's just no way. It's to do everything, not just the coasters. And then we're going to be going to the Star Flyer. Friend of the show, good friend of mine, Mark. He works there. Hopefully get to see him working at the Star Flyer, having breakfast with Lee. Again, seeing lots of friends. So it's going to be great. And we're excited to see everyone and have everyone coming in, and it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, and then David and I actually on our way home are making a spontaneous trip to Dallas for one day and doing Six Flags Over Texas too. So that'll be interesting. We can do Fright Fest at Six Flags Over Texas.
Absolutely.
All I can say is I've only seen all these places from a big rig.
Well, one day, definitely you got to come down here to Florida and to check out these amazing parks, Jenna. That's for sure.
I did Disney World back in '90 when I was 9 years old. So,
so you have been here before.
Yeah, it's an overdue trip, but it's like one of those we have to really plan that one out.
Right, because so much is new for you, and you haven't been to SeaWorld or Busch Gardens or Universal.
No.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, it was back in the ¡90s. It was a family trip. We had like a death in the family, so it was like we're going to go to Disney World type of a thing. And then it was like a back-to-back bad year for we lost 2 family members the same year. So gotcha. I just need to go back and be like, okay, now that I'm an adult and I can go wherever I want.
Nice. So just want to mention real quick while we continue talking about the Florida trip, and we got a couple other topics to discuss after that. One of them actually related to the Florida trip. I just want to mention for the people that are joining us live, and I see the chat going, if you guys want to ask any questions that if you're going to be at the Florida trip, Florida meetup, you have any questions about what's going on, what we're doing, anything you just want to share about the excitement of it, just feel free to comment in the chat. We're monitoring it. So Ivah, we are going to be at Disney for a couple of days. So what are you looking forward to the most about being at Disney?
Let's see. Well, with Animal Kingdom, I am looking forward to doing the Avatar stuff, the Pandora, because I've heard great things about, flying on a Banshee. And let's see, with Hollywood Studios, Toy Story. I'm looking forward to doing like Slinky Dog Dash. I'm not going to say Star Wars because but I will do Rise of the Resistance for you guys. And then Magic Kingdom, really, I mean, it's just going back and hitting those classics, Big Thunder Mountain, especially since I didn't get a chance to ride it in California, and Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And then Epcot's the big thing. Epcot has just gone, with it being the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World this year, I'm just looking forward to all the festivities that the park has going on. You've got Harmonious at Epcot. You've got the new Enchantment at Magic Kingdom with the fireworks. You've got Ratatouille Adventure at Epcot. So, and this is a huge thing for me because the first time I went to Walt Disney World, it was for the 15th birthday, and now I'm going back for the 50th. So, I mean, my first and my most recent trip are huge landmark trips for the park. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
looking forward to it.
That's awesome. Yeah. And just so you know, I am an annual pass holder for Disney World, for Walt Disney World. I have not been for a little while now. I was there at Epcot for the Ratatouille AP preview, which was great. Hopefully we'll get you guys on that Ratatouille. It's a really cute ride. So it's pretty well done. But other than that, I've not been there for the past couple of weeks. And, I did not go to the 50th birthday on October 1st. I could have, but I just didn't reserve it. And I don't actually have any plans to go to Disney World before you guys get here. So I'm kind of saving my enjoyment and experience of the 50th and seeing Harmonious for the first time, seeing Disney Enchantment for the first time, and seeing all the 50th, how it's dressed up, all the decorations and the merchandise, if whatever's still left. I'm doing that for the first time with you. So, and I kind of like that I'm kind of experiencing that with you guys at the same time. So just my schedule is such that I don't have time to get over there. I'm spending so much time at Horror Nights and going to Streamageddon tomorrow, thanks to the folks there who've invited us out. And so we just released our interview with them last week. And I've got a lot going on right now. So I look forward to experiencing the 50th for sure.
Well, if you think you got a lot going on, just wait until we're out there in another couple of weeks. We're definitely going to be keeping you busy too.
Oh yeah, and I have to cater to all your things and take care of you. I know how it is. Yep.
Hey, just think, you won't have to be my personal shopper. I can buy my own stuff while I'm out there. You don't have to buy anything for me now.
That's right. That's for our listeners. The amount of clothing items that I have bought for Ivah this year, at Jurassic for Velocicoaster, Jurassic World merchandise, and when I was at California's Great America Railblazer and other stuff. Yes, I don't have to be a personal shopper anymore. So I will say I'm looking forward to you experiencing Pandora. Avatar is my favorite movie of all time. I love that movie so much. I'm a huge James Cameron fan. I've experienced Pandora many times. And Pandora was Disney's initial response to oh boy, we should have bought Harry Potter, but we didn't. Because, the Wizarding World opened at Islands of Adventure, and then Pandora was announced shortly thereafter. And yeah, its initial response, it's only phase one. They have plans to expand it with the movies, the sequels coming up. But it's a great small land, and the attractions are fantastic. Beautiful, short, but beautiful dark ride with Navi River Journey and Flight of Passage is one of the most beautiful and one of the best flying theaters in the world. I think you're going to love it. And let's not forget about Satuli Canteen, the only dining in that land. Some of the best, my favorite quick service in all of Walt Disney World. The food's amazing. And the Moara Margarita it's a little stand right outside of Satuli Canteen, has amazing margaritas.
Jenna, I'll have a margarita for you. Okay.
Oh, they're so good. There's the frozen margaritas.
You got to find me Figment. Remember, I said you got to get me a Figment pin.
I will get you Figment because I have to go see my purple buddy. Trust me.
Oh yeah, Figment, Journey of Imagination. So
yep.
Mark is asking about the parking at Universal. So Mark, parking is actually really simple. There are two different garages. Don't worry about which one that you wind up parking in. It doesn't matter because they both connect up to a common pathway that leads you to City Walk and to both of the theme parks. It's very well organized. Only thing I will say is once you park, like any parking garage, make a note of your row number and what section it's in. Each of the sections are based on different IPs that Universal has. There's an ET one, there's a Cat in the Hat one, there's I think it's Jurassic Park one, yeah, etc. There's just note what of those you're in and the row number, and that'll take you to exactly where you need to go when you go back to your car. But doesn't matter. Don't worry about which garage. They're both equally the good to park in. So good question though. So
or you could always do I don't remember where I parked, so I'm going to hit the panic button on my car alarm.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah.
You're one of the. Okay, yeah, I hear those a lot when I'm at the park, especially at Universal. So yeah, for sure. Okay, so Disney's going to be fun, and we have some dining reservations. We're going to Tony's Town Square, the Italian restaurant, which I love Italian food. I've never been there, so that'll be a blast. And I love Mexican food, and that's where we're going for dinner, the Hacienda restaurant. So that's gonna be fun to try out. The nighttime spectaculars, I'm excited to see those. We're finally gonna see Bargemonious.
Yeah, Bargemonious.
So hey, I'm an open mind on that. I love Stargate, so it looks like Stargate during the day. I'm fine with that, so it'll be fun. So yeah, anything else you wanted to talk about our trip to Florida before we move on?
Well, I mean, the big thing that I'm looking forward to the new parks, like Busch Gardens and Fun Spot and everything, but I love going to SeaWorld, and that's one of the things that I love is the fact that they still have the animal exhibits. I love going and seeing the orcas, the dolphins, and everything like that, and just how well themed the areas are that SeaWorld has that go around the animal exhibits, especially their rides too. I know Icebreaker's not going to be open, unfortunately, while we're there. We're going to see that beautiful lawn ornament, but I'm looking forward to, like I said, I really miss SeaWorld when it was in Ohio, and we're going to be going to the Hallow Scream events for my first time. Well, it's actually the first time for the park. It's the inaugural year for Hallow Scream, which leads us into Jenna's next part. Did you like that little time?
I did. I'm like, wait a minute.
2 minutes ago, I knew where you're going with that segue. Good job, though.
Okay, so now we're talking about the Hallow Screams, which is that SeaWorld? Okay.
SeaWorld Orlando, yes.
Okay, never been there to that one, so I don't think. Oh no, we do have one, something kind of like that. We went to last year, but I got to miss out because I was doing my work. So I have no idea what to even ask. Ivah.
Well,
okay, so Hallow Scream is their haunt at SeaWorld. So their scary farm. It's the inaugural year, like I said before, at SeaWorld Orlando, and Andrew was invited by SeaWorld media team. So thank you, SeaWorld Orlando, for giving Coaster Challenge the opportunity to go to the media event. So Andrew, why don't you tell us about the mazes, the attractions, and how it compares to some of the haunts that we did while we were out in California, like Scary Farm?
Sure. Yeah, good question. So first of all, just to echo what Ivah said, thank you so much, SeaWorld Orlando, for inviting us to your media event, to opening night back in earlier September for your inaugural, as they call it, their inaugural fear. Yes, another dad joke. Good job, SeaWorld. Of this Hallow Scream event at SeaWorld Orlando. Again, thanks for having us out. We had a blast, as I'll be talking about here. And it was really cool. I wound up meeting up with some local friends of mine that are planning to be at the meetup, by the way, for Velocicoaster in a couple weeks. And what was really awesome is it's a whole family of friends, and a couple of them were there. One of the people in the family, the eldest daughter, her name is Katie. She is one of the scare actors in one of the mazes at Hallow Scream, and she is going to be there when we're there. So hopefully I'll point her out to you guys. Her character's name is Rockin' Ramona. She is in the Dead Vines maze, which I'll talk about a little bit more later. But yeah, it was awesome. It's her first time ever as a scare actor. So it was really, really cool. So in terms of the event itself, I had low expectations. Nothing against SeaWorld. It's the first year. I figured the budget wasn't very high. Didn't necessarily think they had a lot of time to plan it. I was going in with low expectations. I didn't know how good it was going to be. And I have to say, and this has nothing to do with us being invited out. Again, we have a great relationship with SeaWorld, with the SeaWorld parks in general. I personally go to a lot of media events in SeaWorld Orlando and some at Busch Gardens Tampa as well. But I'm just being 100% honest here. I was impressed. Now, is it not Scary Farm? No. Is it Horror Nights on either coast? No. It's smaller, first of all. It's only 4 mazes. It's only about a third of the park is really comprised of Howl-O-Scream. You can't go to the whole park during Howl-O-Scream at night. But what they did, this is one of those things I'm a firm believer in. Chuck Cole, we talked about earlier, he and I have the same philosophy. We're not what kind of people that go and get every single coaster credit necessarily. We're more about quality over quantity. And that is SeaWorld's Howl-O-Scream. They went for quantity, and they didn't just go, oh, let's do 8 mazes or 10 mazes because our park is really big and we can fit them in. No, they did 4 mazes, and the mazes are really good. They're not as big, as long as a Not Scary Farm or a Horror Nights at Universal maze, but again, quantity over quality. Their set design is really good. Their scares are really good. It is a very solid haunt from that perspective. They each have some different themes. My favorite, it's not just because my friend was a scare actor in there, is Dead Vines. It's, again, sort of like that wicked growth maze that I talked about at Horror Nights this year in Orlando. It's sort of that, plants out to kill you and overgrowth and all that's very creepy. And the scare actors are pretty creepy as well. Good scares in there. And then we have Captain's Revenge, Water's Edge Inn, and Beneath the Ice are the other 3 mazes. And they're all very good. But again, Dead Vines is my favorites. And they're great. But what I actually want to talk about is a couple other things, one of which is the scare zones. So the scare zones were, wow, they were really, really impressive. Probably my favorite one was Deadly Ambush. So the scare zones, Ivah, so the Horror Nights in Hollywood, David was talking earlier about how the scare zones weren't scary. There was not many scare actors. Universal Orlando, the Horror Nights, scare actors are great. There's a lot of scare actors. They scare you. Of course, you saw some really great scare actors in scare zones at Not Scary Farm. We experienced that together. At SeaWorld, though, they're not only scary, but they are interactive. They talk to you. My favorite scare zone is Deadly Ambush, and it's this campground that's gone awry, like a serial killer has run through, or slasher, like a slasher film. And there's these people walking around with bloody faces, and they're trying to find a certain person, and they're saying, hey, have you seen this person? And obviously they were killed, and you're going to see their dead body along the side of the road on the pathway there. But it's just interactive and really fun, and they're really in character. They do a great job. The other kind of main thing with the scare zones that I would say is there's this kind of overall theme, which SeaWorld has done a really good job with this year. It's SeaWorld. It's all about the ocean. So they're all about sirens. Do you like sirens, Ivah?
Yeah, I do.
So if you like sirens, you're going to dig this. And then make sure we do a couple of things, which I'm about to talk about when we go to Howl-O-Scream, not just ride Mako at night. We'll do that too, of course. So they have a couple of shows, and this is also, you see this in some of the scare actors and so forth, the scare zones. But they have a couple of shows this year. And one of these shows is called Sirens Song. Now, I don't want to give away too much, but it's an outdoor show. It's right near where Icebreaker is, actually. And you have these sirens that are dancing around and singing, and there's some interactive things involving the crowd. There's some surprises where you see things you don't think you're going to see, and from different directions. Again, I'm being ambiguous on purpose, but it's a very, very creative show, very well done. It plays multiple times a night. But then the other show they do is inside one of the indoor theaters right next to Mako. I forget the name of that theater, but in any case, it is called Monster Stomp. And Monster Stomp is kind of like your Halloween Nightmare Fuel show I talked about earlier, not with so much with the cirque, but with music and dancing. It's very, very kind of interpretive dance sort of thing, very creative show, kind of freaky. They do this one thing in the middle with percussion, with drumming, where they bring out this big long table, and the percussionists, there's like I think 5 or 6 of them. They use knives as their drumsticks, if you will, and they are banging away on this table like nobody's business, like very synchronized, really cool rhythms, very fast. And they're kind of like, foiling each other, challenging each other. Really, really, really neat, really cool. So that show is definitely worth seeing. The other thing I'll mention is the drinks. Like Halloween Horror Nights has great drinks, but SeaWorld's Howl-O-Scream, they have some really cool drinks this year, like frozen drinks and really yummy, really. So if you like that sort of thing, Ivah, you'll definitely have to try those out. So it's a really fun event, very well done. So
now you talked about riding Mako at night. Are all the rides still open during Howl-O-Scream?
Nope. So there's only fundamentally two main rides open. So, and I'm going to guess you're only going to want to go on one of them.
Depends.
So Mako, of course, that's the one I know you're going to go on. We're all going to go on that. Mako night rides on Mako are awesome. They are, in my opinion, no longer the best night rides in Florida. That is over at Universal with Hagrid's and with Velocicoaster, but still, Mako is a great night ride. And the other ride that is open during Howl-O-Scream, because it's only on that side of the park. It's not like over by Manta and Journey to Atlantis and Antarctica, that whole area there, that isn't open for Howl-O-Scream. So, staffing and all that. So I think eventually maybe that'll expand, because this year I think they're being very successful. They're doing well, I believe, my understanding. Maybe they'll expand it to more of the park eventually. So it's just on the Mako side. Icebreaker probably would be open because it's over by Icebreaker, but it's not ready yet. It's functioning as a lawn ornament temporarily, just like Iron Quasi. Any case, the other ride that's open
is Kraken.
No, Kraken's not open. That's on the other side.
Really? Oh.
One of my favorite rides at SeaWorld is Infinity Falls. That is open as well.
Okay. Well, I have not rode Infinity Falls yet, so we'll have to see what time we ride it, either in the day or at night.
Well, we are going to be there with the crew, with Larry and Jean and Nick and Kim and her family and Mark and Natalie. I think I've got everyone. We're all going to be there during the day, and most of us there at night as well, or at least some of us at night. So maybe we can do it during the day, but it looks beautiful at night, the way it lights up, the lighting. You at least get to see the troughs and so forth, and the boats going through, the rafts going through at night. But I'm up for riding at night to see how warm it is.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Let's see how warm it is. If it's cold, I'm not riding it.
We are getting some relief from the heat. Finally, there's been a lot of chat, a lot of discussion in the chat here with the live stream, understandably, about heat in parks keying off of your experience at Magic Mountain. And when you, David, and I planned this, we were trying to plan it so you could be here during haunt, but also not being when it's super warm. And it's already starting to cool off here. Like, I'll look at my watch here. What is the temperature right now? It is 79 degrees. Now it's nighttime. We're recording at 10 o'clock at night, but still, the humidity is definitely less. I've been noticing that the past couple of weeks. So by late October, a couple more weeks, like I told you, the weather should be, I think it'll be really nice. So, so it may be too cool though to ride Infinity Falls at night, but it is a beautiful ride. So.
Well, that just gives us more opportunity to ride Mako at night then.
Absolutely. And again, there's only a few mazes, couple shows. So what we'll be able to, it's not an intense experience like Scary Farm or Horror Nights, where it's like, oh my gosh, I got 8 or 10 mazes to do and a couple shows and tons of coasters. There's only a couple rides open, only a few mazes, a couple shows. So I think we'll really be able to enjoy and do everything that night. I think they're also open till 2 a.m. So it'll be, I think, 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. So it'll be a fun, relatively relaxing night. So,
Andrew, we actually have a question. What's your favorite Halloween Horror Night Orlando food? You've been talking about Howl-O-Scream. Hayden wants to know what's your favorite Halloween Horror Night food.
So David, I guess he's not here right now, but he'll want to hear part of this, and he'll listen to this episode later, of course. One of my favorite things is the way they do the food, the specialty food at Horror Nights is it's intense. Like they have grills and things like that, and cooktops and whatnot set up under tents. And they have a couple food trucks set up as well. And then some of the specialty food is served at some of the restaurants as well. So some of my favorites is such good food, is pizza fries. First of all, pizza fries is a legend at Horror Nights. And a lot of people have heard about it, even if they've not been there. It's regular crinkle. I think they're crinkle cut fries with marinara sauce and sausage and meatballs and cheese and spices. It's so delicious. It's like a whole meal in of itself. They have that again this year. But as far as new things and something that especially David would like is one of the food trucks they have over in sort of the San Francisco area of the park. Is they have chicken tender subs. They've got 3 of them. I've tried one of them so far, the buffalo chicken one. Delicious. They all come with various sauces, either buffalo chicken, barbecue sauce, or like a banh mi, a Vietnamese one. And they have like coleslaw on top, and the sauce is delicious. The tenders are really good. The bread's really good. So yummy. So yeah, that was one of my favorite things so far. But another thing I love, because I love cherries. I love cherry pie. I love cherry cobbler. They have the Leatherface cherry pie, and it's this individual cherry pie. It's like $5. It's really, really good deal. Hot cherry pie. And I'd gotten it already once, like the first night I went to Horror Nights early in September. And I thought, okay, why is it Leatherface? And silly me, I noticed the second time I got it a couple weeks ago, I'm looking at it, and the way the air holes are cut out in the top of the pie, it looks like Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It looks like his face does. So brilliant on Universal's part there. There's a number of things I haven't tried yet. I don't always eat every night I go there, but there is a Jack, who's one of the icons of Horror Nights. He's a clown. He's in the Icons Maze. He's a really funny clown, kind of freaky for most people, of course. They have the Jack's donut slider, so it's donuts instead of bread for the top and bot for the bun bits basically, and with a burger slider. I think they have a chicken one as well. I want to try that one just because I've never had one of those like burgers that's a donut bun, so I'm curious to try that. There's ribs, of course, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre themed. There's for Bride of Frankenstein, because she's got the white hair. There's a ice cream cone that's black and white ice cream swirl. I want to try that. There's some other things. There's some gyoza. I haven't tried those yet. Dumplings. There's even because Bride of Frankenstein, that's classic monsters. You're Eastern European, so they've got potato pancakes because that's sort of a delicacy of that part of the world. So I love that Universal gets creative with these dishes. But speaking of food, one of the things we're going to have to do, we could do this during the daytime too, is go to the tribute store. Now, Ivah, do you know what the tribute store is?
Yeah, tribute store is designed specifically for a specific event or a themed ride. So I know they did it when Velocicoaster opened. They had the Jurassic Park tribute store where they had a bunch of stuff from the Jurassic Park movies in there and special food items. And now it's themed to Halloween Horror Nights. So it's all, I know you can get a lot of the specialty food items there. I've seen some of the baked goods there and everything, and you can get merchandise there. And it's just during certain times of the year. And then they tear it all down and they start afresh again with something different.
Yep. And it's something they've started doing in recent years. The area that it's in is right next to the left of Mummy, the Mummy coaster, or actually Revenge of the Mummy. And that used to be the extended queue for the Mummy. But of course, Mummy is an older ride. It's still a fantastic coaster. What I would call the original storytelling coaster. and one of my favorite rides at Universal Studios Florida. But still, it doesn't get the long lines like it used to. So they recaptured that area and decided to make it turn into a store a number of years ago. But it's only a seasonal store, as you mentioned, Ivah. Historically, they've used it for Halloween, but this year they've gotten creative. They did one actually last year for Christmas. Then they did one for their Mardi Gras celebration, which is a big deal at Universal Studios in Orlando in the spring. Then for the summer, they did the Jurassic World one for Velocicoaster, which was really cool, really well themed. We posted a bunch of pictures of that on our feed on social media over the summer. You can look up that. And then, of course, we're back to Halloween again. Of course, they do the Halloween Horror Nights one. Really well themed, really cool, very, very creepy decorations. I'll tell you, and I know this is one of your favorite rides at Disney, there's a section of the tribute store that makes you feel like you're in the Haunted Mansion with like the portraits. It's really cool. And then there's several rooms, all kinds of merchandise. So yeah, you're going to do tons of shopping in there, Ivah. And then the last room where the cashiers are, very creatively, that's where all the food is. Now, none of the food I've mentioned is in there. That's elsewhere in the park. This is more like you said, baked goods. They're like these parfaits and cakes and cups and like these jelly beating hearts and all these really cool like themed desserts. It's all about dessert in there. So I see you smiling at it. So we'll definitely have to get dessert in there at some point.
Well, yeah, there's always room for dessert.
Yeah, so both SeaWorld Orlando and Halloween Horror Nights, and SeaWorld Orlando does also have for Howl-O-Scream some themed food only available at night, and besides the drinks. I didn't get to try any of the food when I was there, but I'm looking forward to doing some of that when we're there with the whole meetup crew the night before the actual Velocicoaster meetup when we're there on the 22nd. But yeah, do you have any other questions about SeaWorld's Howl-O-Scream?
Jenna, do you?
No, I think I'm good.
All right.
Say, Andrew, you've been pretty busy, not only with, going to the Howl-O-Scream media event, but you also did a Scream and Stream media event, which the GM, Josh Gunderson, was actually just recently. That was the last episode that we aired for the podcast. He was our special guest for that day. So tell us how Josh made you scream and stream during your visit at Media Day.
Yeah. So before, thank you. Great. Wow. You are the segue queen.
Oh,
No, you're the segue siren. You're the segue siren. Yeah. So before I get to Josh and Scream and Stream, I just want to mention, because we're not going to be able to talk about it in this episode because it's before this. But I mentioned this, I alluded to this earlier, but I just want to thank the folks. Tomorrow night, so the night after we're recording this, I am going with a friend of mine, my friend Ryan. We are going out to Dade City, Florida, which is in the middle of nowhere, to go to Screamageddon. And I want to thank Winston. Winston was our most recent guest on the podcast, and the episode we released last Friday. Had a nice conversation with him. Winston and his team inviting us out. We were not able to make the media event, which was back on the 24th of September, because that's the day I was on the way out to Dollywood for my fun Dollywood trip. So they offered to give us a couple tickets for a regular night just so we could experience it. So I'm looking forward to going back to Screamageddon. Hopefully I'll get to talk about that in the next month or so here in the podcast. But going back to Scream and Stream. So previous guest to Winston is we had, as you mentioned, Josh Gunderson, who helps manage the Scream and Stream events, and got to go to the media event with a couple friends of mine, and got to see our friend of the podcast, Ian Kaufman, who was on the show a couple months ago. He was there with the theme park stop team with Alicia Stella. Got to say hi to them. And so we got to see some friends there, which was great. But the event itself was fun. So just to recap for those that have not heard the interview we did with Josh Gunderson, Scream and Stream was born out of the pandemic. And I love the story of Scream and Stream. Forget about the haunt and about, you getting scared, Jenna. It's really cool and heartwarming what the Scream and Stream team did. So basically, here in Florida, like elsewhere, we had a lot of people, even when the parks reopened last summer here in Florida, we had a lot of people that were still furloughed, entertainment especially. Certainly the ride ops went back and food and beverage went back because they got to serve food, they got to open the rides. But Disney and even Universal, they cut a lot of entertainment. Horror Nights never happened last year. They only had a couple mazes open during the daytime, etc. So there are a lot of people that were out of work, a lot of creative people. And that is how Stream and Scream was created. It was created as a COVID-friendly haunt. And it was, we got to go to the media event for that. Coaster Challenge did. I took a few friends. Actually, Austin, who's been on the podcast, interviewed him. He went along with a couple other friends, Mark and Kaylin and I. The four of us took my car and we went to another place in the middle of nowhere in Florida, at a place called Boggy Creek Adventures. Really creepy place in the middle of a swamp, because it's Florida. And we did this media event, and it was a drive-through haunt. It was the first time they ever did this, and they hired a bunch of people that were out of work from Universal, from SeaWorld, from Disney, etc. And they put together this haunt. And so you would drive through it, and there would be scare actors and themed areas and props and everything. And it was really cool. It was in the middle of a swamp, so it was really creepy to begin with. And it was very safe. They have stoplights that are set up strategically in the haunt itself. So basically what happens is you drive, and you have to drive slowly. They're monitoring you. And then you get to a stoplight and you stop, and then you watch the scene, and the scare actors come at your car and all that. So it's really cool. And they did well with it, to the point where they wanted to come back, even coming out of the pandemic, with Horror Nights fully going again, SeaWorld Howl-O-Scream going, never had that before. And these other haunts here in Florida going full steam this year. Even though that's the case, Scream and Stream has kind of made a place for itself. They decided to come back, but instead of being in the middle of nowhere where it's hard for people to get to, they're doing it on the east side of Orlando, kind of more urban, at a mall parking lot. And they are partnered with Oviedo Mall, which is one of the malls in East Orlando. And they partnered with them. They were able to use part of the parking lot and reserve that area for the entire, September and October for the haunt season, so they can have everything set up. And then they're, partnering with some of the businesses in the mall. There's something called the District, which is sort of like a Dave & Buster's, with games and food and beverages and axe throwing and bowling and stuff like that. And so they're partnering with them and some other businesses, and escape room in there as well. And it's really cool, kind of everything partnered together. So we got to go to the media event, and the District hosted it. So we got some nice free food from the District and drinks, and got to play some games while we're waiting. And then we did our drive-through haunt. Now this year, again, it's not in a swamp. It's in the middle of a mall parking lot. And this year's theme, it actually has a theme this year. Last year was kind of loosely themed. This year, it's about going into this military base, and things have gone awry. I don't want to give too much away, but there's some really scary things in this military base. And again, it's got the same thing with the stoplights for the show scenes, the scare actors coming at you. But this year's event is interactive. And again, my hat's off to the creativity of Josh Gunderson and his team. You have laser tag guns that they give you. Now, the driver doesn't get a laser tag gun for safety reasons. So I was driving, so I didn't get to shoot the gun. But my two friends in the car with me, they got guns, and you get to shoot at the scare actors. And when you shoot them, they react to it because they've got targets on their bodies, and they'll interact accordingly. And basically the idea is if you shoot them and hit them on target, you're going to keep them further away from your car and keep your car safe. If you don't shoot them or miss them, then they're going to come closer to your car. So it's very interactive. And again, not giving the story away, but the two main types of scare actors, not the only ones, but the two main types that you encounter in this drive-through haunt are two of people's most scared, two of the things people scared of the most, that fear the most in terms of humanoid scary things. So what would you say for a human-based, something that's scary? What would be your guess, Ivah?
Clowns would be one.
Clowns are number one. You ding, ding, ding. You got one of them. So then there's another.
Spiders.
Humanoid based. So they're humans.
Humanoid.
They were humans. That's a big hint. Zombies. There you go. Clowns and zombies. So again, great makeup. The budget definitely was increased this year. And that's good. And so the really good makeup and the scare actors really got into it too. And there's some really cool special effects in some of these show scenes that you stop for. So really, really fun. And the really cool thing about this is we talked about David and Jenna helping with a kind of mini haunt that they do, at the Burbank storage, and it being free for people that can't afford it. And I get it. Horror Nights, it's $70 to $100. Screamageddon is not cheap. It's a little cheaper. Hallowscream is not far from the $70 to $100 for seat. It's expensive. I get it. Not everyone can afford it. Well, similarly, Scream and Stream, while not free, it's not like David's. It's very inexpensive, or it can be, because it's like a drive-in. It's per car, not per person. Okay. So, and it runs, I want to say starts, I think, around $60 per car and goes up from there. So if you come in with, minivan or like a big SUV with third row, and you got, and it's also fairly kid friendly. I wouldn't bring a 6-year-old, but you could bring teenagers certainly to it. You could have, 7 people in your car, maybe even more, and be paying less than $10 a person. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty long haunt. It took us about maybe a half hour to get through the whole thing. It's not just you drive around a couple corners and you're done. It's because you stop and you watch something. There's a story, and it's very, very techy actually for something that's in the middle of a mall parking lot. Very impressive.
So Andrew, we did have a question: where is Scaremageddon? Is it near Tampa?
Yeah, so Screamageddon is north of Tampa. It's about 30 to 45 minutes kind of northeast of Tampa in a town called Dade City. And as I talked about when I interviewed Winston in our last episode, one of the mazes, one of the haunted trails, if you will, it's part of Screamageddon, is outside. And last time I went to it was in 2019. It was kind of backwoods themed, and it fit into the area so well because it's in the middle of nowhere in this kind of small little like fairgrounds kind of place. And it's really cool because you're in there's 4 mazes, I think, total. This one is outside, and you go into houses and these shacks along this trail that they've built, but most of it's outside. It's very creepy. So yeah, Dade City is in the middle of nowhere, which is kind of fun for a haunt because it kind of fits into the theme. So
yeah, you have a lot more to work with, definitely, when you have just one big open space.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, Jenna. Okay. So by the way, and Mark in the chat, I know you're probably you're maybe wondering if you're going to have time to go to it. Probably not, given your flight plan. But I will tell you, Jenna, when you come to Florida, if you come during haunt season, I am not taking you to Screamageddon. Because
we'll just take the little boy that lives at my house. His name's Charlie. He's 6. He's like his grandfather and his mom. He loves going to these things. He loves going on all these. He loves doing the haunts. He doesn't get scared on them. So he would be one of those. I guess his mom has taken him to Knott's Berry Farm for the Scream part, and he loved it. So for him, he would probably have fun because he likes shooting. He has his Nerf guns and stuff, so he would probably have a blast with it.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. So I'm going to come back to you, Jen, in a moment, but I'm just trying to help out Mark. So Mark, you bring up a good point. I am pasting into the chat here, into the live stream, the dates. I did look it up. So the night that you fly in, the 21st, Screamageddon is open. So I actually encourage you and Natalie to go. Why not? I think it opens at 7. If you guys can afford it, I don't think it's too expensive, and it fits into your time, your schedule perfectly. You guys will have a blast because I know you guys love haunts. So yeah, no, Mark. Yeah. So anyway, check the link I just sent you, and I can talk to you about it later offline. But Screamageddon is open most nights of the week. But anyway, going back to you, Jenna. So the reason why I'm saying I will not let you go is for your own safety. Screamageddon is an independent haunt. Now, not all independent haunts are like this. So it's not associated with a theme park, but in general, most haunts that are their own enterprise, they're a separate place, they tend to be edgier. So you're talking Not Scary Farm and even edgier than that. And Screamageddon is that. It's optional, but 2 of Screamageddon's mazes. So Jenna, do you know what a Nobu necklace is?
I think when I was listening to the podcast, you guys were talking about where you can participate by wearing like the necklace or whatever it was.
Right. So that's not a Nobu. So a Nobu, they have them at SeaWorld. So you could actually, SeaWorld probably would work well for you. So
they have them at
SeaWorld,
Cedar Point too.
So yeah, Howl-O-Scream, they have it. So it's only for the scare zones because the scare zones are really interactive at SeaWorld's Howl-O-Scream. But the Nobu is if you get it, the scare actors leave you alone.
Yep.
Now, Screamageddon, they don't have a Nobu necklace. That is not an option. They have the reverse. They have a necklace you wear where the scare actors can touch you and interact with you.
Oh,
I know. Usually exactly. So, but even without, because that's opt-in, you have to ask them for the necklace. It's free, and they will allow these scare actors to interact with you. And I love doing that. That's fun. But even without that, again, Screamageddon is not for the faint of heart. You do not want to bring kids there, even teenagers. I would say 16 and up would be the minimum. So yeah, but it again, not for you, Jenna, but again, there's a lot of horror fans out there, and I'm one of them. Ivah, you would enjoy it. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have time when you guys are here. We have such a full schedule, but we'll see. So
yeah, you never know.
Michael would opt for being a participant of it just to see if they could scare him.
Oh yeah. Michael. Yeah. See, Michael's like me. He's a big horror fan. So I'm talking about that.
Jason's his boy. As he keeps telling me. Jason's my boy.
Oh yeah. Jason Voorhees is awesome. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm excited to see the new Halloween movie that's coming out in about a week and a half. So it's gonna be great.
That's Michael.
Oh yeah. Literally Michael. Yeah. So love those. Yeah. Love these new movies.
He wants to see that one too.
Oh yeah, the last one was great that we brought back. They basically retconned everything, and only the first movie was real, and then Jamie Lee Curtis came back. And it was like the other movies hadn't happened, and they got creative with it, but it was so good. So they're doing a sequel to that, Halloween Kills. But anyways, this is one of my favorite times of year. All the horror stuff and the haunts, and the weather gets better. So any other questions? So it was a good question about Screamageddon, Mark. So you will be able to do that on the 21st. We can talk about that offline. If any last questions, I think we're wrapping things up here. Ivah, do you have any other questions, Jenna?
No, I don't think so. We're just looking forward to seeing everybody for the takeover and during the entire trip, when you guys are down.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking forward to seeing a lot of people we don't get to see very often, and just seeing and Ivah, you and David are going to meet. A lot of my local friends here in Florida are joining us for the meetup. Big coaster enthusiasts, and some people that work for Universal are going to be there with us. Some friends of mine that work at Universal. So it's going to be a big party, and then we're going to do lunch after Velocicoaster. And yeah, so
I just see the feed, and people are can't wait to see you guys. Can't wait to see Ivah. So
yay!
A couple of times in there.
So yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, for our first meetup, it's gonna be fantastic. I can't believe we're already doing a meetup. We're not even one season in. It took Coaster Radio years to start doing meetups. So. This is good stuff.
It's going to be epic before Epic Universe was around.
That's right. It's going to be epic. I've been using that same word with people to describe it. All right. Well, it's we're almost 3 hours in here, so I guess we should call it quits.
Yep. We got life will find a way to Florida in a couple weeks.
There we go. Life will find a way in Jurassic Park at Universal. That's right.
Yep.
So.
Well, let's thank everybody that listened, everybody that has been mentioned. David is unfortunately outside, so on his behalf, thank you, everybody.
Definitely.
Yes, thank you.
You guys all know who everybody is, so.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone who's turned into both of our live episodes we've done, for all of our current and past podcast guests that we've got coming, either previously already been on or your episode is not aired. We thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedules to sit and chat with all of us during our first season.
Yes, thank you for everyone. And yeah, like Ivah mentioned, there's a number of you, Mark and Natalie, for example, where we've recorded interviews with you guys already. We just haven't released them yet. We have a lot of interviews in the waiting to be edited by David, or perhaps our new editor. If we can bring someone on, I mentioned that earlier. We'd love to bring someone on board to help David out with that. But just be patient. Your interviews will be released. It's just, we just have so much content we're generating. So many, park officials we've been talking to, Disney, Knott's, Jeff Tucker, new friend of the show. We love Jeff. So just be patient. We're getting your interviews out. So
be patient with me as the co-host. I'm still learning everybody out there. So I have yet to meet a whole lot. So hopefully I'll be able to get to some of these meets and get to meet a lot of you guys.
Yes,
you just got to come to Florida. You just got to come to Florida, Jenna.
Well, if you guys wouldn't have scheduled it during October when I'm at school.
You can blame that one that's down there, at the very bottom of my screen.
Oh, really? It was, okay. All right, fine. I'll take the blame. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll have to do a Christmas meetup or something next year or something,
Don't do it in Ohio.
No, in Florida. We could do it in Florida, California.
California.
Yeah, California, the weather's great in December. Yeah, we could do that.
Exactly. It's
Disneyland's
nice and cool.
Disneyland's amazing Christmas time. So
sounds good.
And then you get to see the castle done up at Christmas time.
Oh yes.
Ooh, yeah. All right. So I guess we'll sign off.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.